Hello everybody, welcome to this live stream. Today we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna show you guys the way that I learned how to draw everything. And what I mean by everything, like how to put like characteristics and how to build a character from anything. So I'm gonna also go through a couple of the steps that it takes to be able to get fun looking characters, and I'm going to give you guys tips along the way. So what software we are using right now is kind of irrelevant. Imagine that I'm drawing in a sketchbook, and that is how you should see things. I have undo buttons and everything. I'm going to try not to make it look like it can just be done digitally, but hopefully this way you guys can follow along and I can show you guys some really cool stuff. Okay? Let's get started. All right. Okay. So the number one thing when it comes down to creating characters that you want to be able to develop, or if you just want to draw something really cool, normally what we go along with is to draw the face. And drawing the face is going to be the number one thing that you got to learn how to do so you can transfer those same emotions that you're going to be able to draw in the head onto everything else. So the way that I go about drawing heads is quite simple. I like to come up with a basic shape. In this case, you can go really, really simple and then just make something like a sphere. You can have some fun and come up with some weird looking shapes as well. And I'm going to show you guys how to turn this into heads as well. But for now, let's stick to the sphere because it's nice and easy and it's something that everybody can do. So one thing that I like to tell people from the get-go is to start thinking of the things that you draw as 3D objects that have volume, objects that go around, and not to just think of them as circles or squares. We want to start thinking of them as cubes and spheres, right? This way you start realizing and that you're pretty much sculpting. You're not necessarily just drawing lines for drawing's sake. You start understanding that things have shapes and those shapes can be manipulated and pushed in and pushed out and stretched. And if you can get your head around seeing things in the volume sense of things, it makes it a lot easier to be able to understand what everything is doing in the body. So we have our basic shape for a head. Nice sphere. We're going to do it in 3/4 too, right? The next step is to come up with what you want to put inside this face. And, well, this could be anything. You can turn this into animals, insects, aliens, anything. It really is everything in your imagination. But what I like to do to be able to generalize and be able to do really fun things is to come up with a set of eyes that I can apply to everything that I draw. So, how I like to draw eyes is very, very simple. And the reason that I chose something very simple is because I can apply this to anything. And that's essentially how I draw eyes. I draw a thicker upper lid, a very thin circle, and a little tiny indication of the lower eyelid. And then a simple black dot. As simple as this eye is, it can provide every expression that you can possibly think of, especially if you start adding eyebrows and brow muscles, then you can get every expression you can possibly want. And it's incredibly easy, so you don't have to worry so much about the detail. So let's go with our head right here. We're going to give it some eyes. Thick eyelid, lower eyelid. This is the eye fold, your eyelid in itself. I like to make little indications for it too. We're going to give it some eyebrows. And I'm essentially going to draw myself. How about that? Make it easy. Give myself a nice big nose, curly mustache, and a little goatee. And just as simple as that, we have a very simple caricature of me. Ta-da! So, but now, check this out. We're going to go back to the eyes. Let's delete the nose too. And let's say that we wanted to make this into a puppy. So keep the eyes the same. That's the whole point. Yeah, you can put these eyes on anything. So at this point, we're just going to draw the different shapes that make up a puppy. And now we have a puppy. Pretty cool, huh? And this can work in 3/4 view as well. The eyes are, they're just spheres. They're like, they're just balls inside your eye sockets. All these little lines that you see, you can stylize them any way you want as long as you understand that they're spheres that sit into your eye socket. So we're gonna draw really cool, fun shapes for heads. And then we're gonna figure out a way to give anything that you draw personality, or give it character, or make it a cartoon. So what we were talking about is to take any shape you want and then give it a very simple set of eyes. What I like to do for these situations is a thick upper eyelash line, the rest of the eye in the thinner line, and then just adding simple black dots or circles for the rest of the eye. This combined with, eyebrows and eyelids, you can create any expression you can possibly want. Oh, okay, we were at the puppies in the side view perfectly. All right, so having those thoughts in mind, we can go ahead and let's draw the puppy in the side view. So we have some basic eyes. Remember, this one normally has the nose bridge covering some of the eyeball. And then from here, you just start shaping in 3D and creating anything you guys want. And this is a puppers in 3/4 view, just with super simple, quick cartooning techniques. So knowing that, I want to go in and draw a few different eyes that you guys can play around with so that you can get an idea of how big of a range you can actually do with this. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up with a bunch of different little shapes, and you'll see how those turn into eyes. So we're going to do some pointy up eyes. We're going to do some sad, gloomy eyes. We're going to do some, squinty eyes on that one. We're going to do some scared eyes. We're going to make some disgusted eyes with that shape as well. And we're going to make some mad eyes. And mad normally means like super sharp. So we're going to do triangles for that. Okay? So the first eye that we're going to draw are these. And we're going to do the same thing that I said. Thicker upper line of the eye, or the eyelash line. That's why you make it thicker. Going to give it some eyelashes. Nothing too complex. A little bit thinner line inside. And then we have the eyes, which can be just black dots. That gives you nice little sensual eyes. And if you start adding other elements like, eyelids and eyebrows, now you can get flirty looks, now you can get sexy looks, now you can get like different elements like that. So that's one way that you can go about it. And with these, you can play with the upper line in any way you want, so you can stylize it in whatever style you want. You know, honestly, the sky's the limit. You just have to play around with shapes. So we're gonna go into sad eyes. Sad eyes normally have, they're pointing down. The Katie Holmes eyes. This is what I like to call it. Nice simple shape. It doesn't even have to be like really all that round. I'll show you guys over here. We're gonna make some eyes with boxes. Straight up boxes. That's gonna turn into eyes. And you'll see how easy it is to just apply the same concepts and it all looks good. So, sad eyes. Oh, another little trick that I like to do, if I want to give it clear, like blue eyes, green eyes, light colored eyes, I just do the circle and then just add a little, like the little black part of the eyeball inside. And it gives you nice, like it looks like it's a light colored eye as opposed to a dark colored eye. When making very, very sad expressions, you need to, you know, understand like a little bit of the folds of the eye. I like to draw a little bit of the lower, like little poofy part right here. And then it's all about the eyebrows. Right, so there you go. Another really clear expression with a very simple way of making eyes. So what if your eyes are closed? What if you're just like squinting or like you're about to blink? It's even easier because the line on top, the upper eyelash line, kind of takes over everything. And then you just have to draw a little tiny indication that there's something underneath. And I do it by just drawing little lines like this. And then you can have the person squinting or blinking, or and you can even go into more detail by adding the upper eyelids. And then you have that little squinty look. Like, oh. Another set of eyes that you can do when they're completely open is just to make two big circles. And you said this one was scared. So when you're trying to add tension to a drawing, it helps to add extra lines wherever they're not supposed to be. So in this case, we're going to draw some extra lines on the bottom, on the sides, and just kind of sketch them in. And then we're going to make the pupil super little and uneven. We're going to give it one clear eye and one black dot. And then that just adds even more to the craziness. When your eye opens, the more open your eye is, the less upper eyelid you're going to see. Okay, just keep that in mind. That's a little tip that took me a while to understand, because sometimes I would still have like the big eyes and then I'd have the eyelid, and then I didn't understand why I didn't get the looks that I wanted. For this one, well, let's make super cute eyes. And by doing the simple trick to making something incredibly cute is to give it some big pupils, like super big Bambi eyes. And even without the highlights, now you have a ridiculously cute. He's going to be picking his nose. Now you can see like how easy it is to create something really cute. So, okay, we have our cuteness, and then we're going to go into our mean eyes. And these will serve as examples that you can draw pretty much any shape you want and then turn that into eyes. So in this case, we're just gonna keep with really sharp lines. Upper upper eyelash line. And then we want a lot of tension. So we're gonna draw a lot of just sketchy lines. And even though it's not as thick as the upper eyelash line, you know, we're like giving a little indication that there's a little bit more. So like the shadows underneath the eyes. And that kind of tricks your mind into thinking that. And since we're going with the opposite of cute, the smaller the eyes are inside the eyeball line, the smaller the pupil is inside the eye, the creepier something's gonna look. So you can do that, or you can even just completely ignore that and just give it like a little flame or something. And now it's like a demon, yeah? But again, thick, thin, and a tiny bit of indication of the lower eyelashes. And then you can draw really angry eyes, really cool eyes. All right, so we're gonna go with these. And we're gonna keep the same concept. Just gonna thicken up the upper line, kind of give a little indication of the lower eyes. A little tiny bit. It's just to break up the unevenness. There you go. So that could be a way of stylizing your eyes. Try to come up with a really fun shape that you guys really enjoy and that you can try to make into different, positions like this. And then just apply that to different things. Next is the fun part. This is a fun exercise that you can do at home on your sketchbooks. You can do this on a computer. You can do it in anything. And it's going to help you start seeing things in a very interesting way. So what I like to do, and this is something that I actually am going to start doing on my own YouTube channel. So, if you guys want to see more of these, you guys can go check out my channel there. But we're going to start with just a random shape. Let's make it with a pen. And then try to come up with something that you want to put in there. I'm going to go with an online random word generator. And I'm going to challenge myself to something really cool. All right, so a number of words. Let's make 2. Okay, so the first one that came up was pancake, but that's too easy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a Pokemon out of this. Why not? A little monster. And I know for a fact that my favorite little monster is Ghastly. So he already has like the little orbital foam thing. And we're gonna apply the same eyes that we have been playing around with. In this case, I'm gonna make them like this. I don't like symmetry in my drawings. I don't. I absolutely hate drawing things evenly on both sides. So I always change the eyes, I always change the eyebrows, I always change something. I skew the mouth a little bit to the side. It's just a lot better for me, and I find it really cool to not have everything symmetrical. So we're gonna have the eyes, the upper line a little thicker. He's a little ghost Pokemon, so he has a little bit of tension, and he's gonna be looking at us. And then he has his tongue, right? Okay, so now we have a Ghastly. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a random shape, and we're gonna go to our word generator. All right, so the next one is Dinosaur. So how are we going to make a dinosaur out of this? So you can rotate it, you can look at it in different ways, and I can already tell that the coolest way that I can do it is by making this the snout. So we're going to play it like that. We're going to make that the mouth. It's going to be the teeth. And I try to stay within the shape to challenge myself to see things in a different way. So in this case, he's going to have like little beard looking thing, and he's going to have the texture on the bottom. Now we're going to do the eyes the same way, only in this case it's a little bit in profile. So we're going to give him eyes like that. Upper eyelash line, lower lid, and just a little sphere. And then a little bit texture. Now, we're going to go to the next section. We're going to make it like that. Okay, let's see. You know what? Sometimes you don't even need the generator. In this case, I'm just going to draw what I think would look really cool there. And I think a two-finned shark. And I want to play with the expression. I want to make him really angry. So what we said about angry eyes, they are more like triangles, right? So we're going to go with that. In this case, let's see. We're going to go with that. This one's going to be like a tooth that's sticking out that way. There you go. And adding little overlapping lines like this, like these, can give a lot of depth to something that, you know, wasn't there before. Thick, thin, a little bit of chaos, because it's an evil shark, and the eyebrow line. Now we have a super evil shark with a snaggle tooth, apparently. All right, so next section, boom. What can we do? You know what? Let's do something fun. We're gonna make a scenery out of this. And just seeing as this, we're gonna make it into like a character that's looking into the distance. And we'll try to implement that same styling for the eyes, okay? So we're gonna draw a little simple stick figure dude as a placeholder. Super simple. And I'm gonna make this into like a cliff. I'm gonna make some trees. And then we're gonna go like a little sun. Gonna make happy sun winking. And he's gonna be looking this way. To little bee friend. He's gonna have Booby with him. So, same thing we do with the eyes. He's gonna be annoyed. Like, thicker, thinner, and just the most simple thing you can possibly think of. I'm going to think of myself. In all reality, you can draw anything you want by just knowing those little elements. You can give anything a personality. And you can just have a lot of fun with it. Let's draw that. And in this case, ooh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna make a horse. How about that? Let's make a horse out of this. It kind of looks like a very majestic shape. This could be like the mane. Thick, thin line underneath. And horses have like super big, like, brow lines. It's gonna look more like a dinosaur, isn't it? It looks like a brontosaurus. So let's turn it into a brontosaurus. Why not? There's nothing telling you that you can't change it on the spot. There you go. You have a brontosaurus. A brachiosaurus? Oh my god. I can't remember the name of that dinosaur. So that provided us with a different shape. I'm going to start dividing everything else so that I can know like how many shapes we have left. I honestly try to challenge myself when it comes down to drawing things like this. If you see a basic shape and then you try to see something that's not the first thing that comes to your mind, then you're going to be pushing yourself in a different way. You're not going to be too constrained ever when it comes down to drawing things because you'll be able to come up with really fun scenarios every single time. And I'm trying to come up with something for this one that isn't a bird, because that's the first thing that I see. Okay, in this one, we're going to come up with a person's face. And it's going to be like, same concept. I'm just changing proportions to make it bigger or smaller. Now, if you want to practice doing anatomy, like proper anatomy, I really do highly suggest that you pick up some books on anatomy because they help you immensely. You know, anatomy is one of those things that nobody ever wants to practice, nobody ever wants to do because it's boring, because it's lame, because it takes too long to master. But man, like if people knew the benefits of actually picking up an anatomy book and learning a little bit more about what they're drawing, everybody would be, their skill levels would be incredibly higher. I often like to tell my students that every single time that you find yourself in a situation when you don't know how to draw something, take notes of it. Write it in your sketchbook. Let's say if we're doing this, right? And I didn't know how to draw the head of a horse. I'd probably just make a little note that says, reference horse noses. And then go in and actually research what the face of a horse looks like and then try to understand it the moment that you notice that you don't know what you're drawing. And that's going to help you every single time to get better. Let's see. What can this be? I'm just seeing a lot of reptiles today. But I don't want to draw the same thing. Okay, we're going to break this up into more. And we're going to draw like a zombie ice cream cone here. Why not? We'll give it some sprinkles, give it some really chaotic eyes, and now we have a little zombie ice cream. And then this one, let's see, this one, Gonna make it some frozen yogurt. Yeah, why not? Swirly. Frozen yogurt. I must be hungry. Okay, and we have one more little shape right here. Gonna make this into a bat ray. A cute little bat ray. All right, so that is one exercise that I really do like doing almost daily. And you come up with a lot of stuff that you never thought, this kind of looks like an egg with a face, and I'm loving this. Okay, let's move on to, you guys get an idea that you can create anything you want with this. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to come up with a way that you can create different facial expressions for the characters that you guys have. So this is something that is immensely easier when it comes down to doing it on digital drawings because you can make layers. If you don't have layers, what I recommend is that you draw the basic face of a character that you want to draw. In this case, I'm just going to draw the general shape of my character, right? It's going to have eyes, a nose, a mouth, and an ear on this side. So we're going to do that. What you can do if you don't have a sketchbook is to make photocopies or get a light table or make a light table, which is just literally a light bulb over a transparent object, and then you can shine light through it, and then you can do this over and over and over and over. But since we're doing things digital right now, I'm going to just move up this layer. I'm going to put them to the side. I'm going to combine them, and I'm going to lower the opacity a little bit. This gives me a template for 3 different faces that I can make. So if you have a certain style that you like, and you want to keep it consistent throughout everything, and you still want to change some aspects of a character, this is a fantastic way to go about it. Let's say that the first character is going to be a base character, and again, I'm just going to draw myself because it's a very easy way to go about it. So we draw the upper line very thick. The lower line of the circle a little bit thinner. We're going to add some eyebrows. I have relatively thick eyebrows. I'm going to do it like that. And I'm keeping it super loose, and it still looks pretty cute or pretty cool. So don't worry so much about getting everything perfect. We're sketching. You're developing ideas. It should not be a perfect drawing every single time. So keep that in mind for everything. Then we're going to draw a nose, following the size that I put it. And then I'm going to draw my mouth. I'm going to avoid putting the mustache covering everything because that defeats the purpose. But mouths can be as easy as the eyes. It could be just shapes like lines. It can be any random shape you can think of. But for now, we're just going to make a basic shape, a little basic hue, add a little bit of indication for the lower lip, and we have our character. Well, hello there, sir. Right? So now let's say that we want to take that character, but we want to make it angry. So what we do, we already have the same shapes already traced out. So we just got to move all the facial features in order to make them look angry. You got to keep into consideration eyebrows, the nose, and the mouth for the most part. The eyes really, all they do is just close and open. So determining that really isn't too hard. It's determining the angle of the eyebrows, the way the mouth is going to show the teeth. Is it even going to move? Is it going to have like just all the scrunchy lines right here? And a very easy way to do it is the way that I'm going to show you guys right now. With eyebrows, I like to make it so they're connected. So wherever I draw eyebrows, I make sure that they flow. Like if it was a big unibrow. In this case, we'll make a skeptical look. It'll be something like that, and then you can just delete the middle. And then you have the general shape of your eyebrow. Now let's say you want to make them angry. Boom. Nice and angry. And then just delete the middle. And then you have a general guideline of what your character is supposed to look like. It can be the same thing with apathy. You know, just bringing down those eyes, those eyebrows to the point where they cover part of the eye. You know, see? Super simple line work will provide you all the necessary stuff to do. Okay. So that's how you can play with facial expressions. But what if you just don't want to play with facial expressions? What if you want to change the actual character and understand how different things are going to look inside of it? So you have your base, and now you have the sketch that shows you what the base is, but now you can start doing things differently. Maybe you just want a different style eye. Maybe you want the nose to be different. You want it pointy. What if super thin eyebrows is what you're looking for? And what if you want them thinner? You know, you can change it very, very easy by having an existing template and then going into a different shape, a different nose, a different mouth. In this case, we're going to make them grumpy. So that's, and then all this can easily be applied to other characters as well. Let's make a snake. Why not? Snakes go long, right? So, I'm going to keep that. Eyes. We're going to keep the eyes the same. Snakes have little sides for the cheeks because their mouths are a little bit bigger. And they have little nostrils. They have fangs. So now you have a snake. A little cute snake, but still a snake. And that can be an alien, that could be anything you want. Let's make a person with a third eye. Why not? Or one eye. Yeah, let's do it like that, like a cyclops. It's as easy as just following those guidelines and just making it a one-eyed thing. I love doing this, and it's a very easy way to be able to draw everything that's in your mind. You can make a tree and then give it that same treatment. And now you have a cartoony tree with an expression on it. Right? It can be as simple as just a sphere. And just give it a crack. Now you have a happy egg that's cracked. I don't know. It could be anything you can come up with. This is awesome. This is how you go about building your skill in order to be able to have a better imagination range. This is how you start drawing from imagination. But the one thing that I would suggest to all those people out there that want to get better at what they do and they're stuck and they feel like they can't get past a certain thing is reference. Reference material is absolutely necessary in order to be able to grow your mental library. And I always overemphasize having a mental library because that is what's going to make you be able to draw anything in the future. If you draw one thing once, let's say you're really bored, you're at a park, and you start drawing a pigeon that you see going by you, even if it's a quick sketch, then you're going to be able to draw a pigeon. If you see light posts, and they're like sticking out from the bottom, and they have signs. I don't know, I'm just making something up right now. But then now you have a light post. And then the next time that you go draw a light post, even if it's from memory, you're going to be able to go in and replicate that to a certain extent. And the more that you practice, the more you're going to get better at it. Same thing happens with perspective, These are like essential skills that you need to know. And it's something that most artists neglect themselves from learning. And they do it because it's boring, it's not stylish, and people just do not like drawing in perspective. They just don't. So you can come up with really fun scenarios if you have a wider imagination range. But the number one step to doing so is being able to be happy with what you're drawing. And honestly, the turning point for me was understanding that I could find a really fun way to draw eyes, and then I could translate that into anything, and then that made my characters have a little bit more expression. The more that I drew it, I was able to create funner things, wider expressions. I would actually have a mirror next to my desk all the time so that I could just make the faces. I could be like, and then try to copy that as I'm drawing. And that is a technique that I saw that people from animation studios do. So let's recap what we learned today. So what the emphasis was today is to be able to give anything that you draw a little bit more expression, right? So coming up with fun shapes, giving an identity to these shapes. In this case, it's just going to be a face. And then, this guy will be like a little fat bear or something. And this one, it's a very simple shape. But we're just going to draw like a really disfigured zombie, okay? Elements that I like to include in everything: super simple eyes. Don't worry about symmetry. It's not always necessary. It's overrated. Just, don't be discouraged if you can't draw two eyes the same. Everybody has imperfections. So, eyes, coming up with a fun, easy way to express where the eye pupils are going to be. Simple shapes for the mouths. And by simple shapes, I mean, easy to draw shapes. But that doesn't mean that it just has to stay within the realms of that. You can twist them, turn it, it can be anything you want. Just keep it so it flows nicely. And then eyebrows. In all reality, you can draw most things without a nose, and it still look pretty quick. With animals, it could be the same thing, only, nostrils play a bigger role. Bears have nice big noses. And remember that everything is in 3D. So in this case, the eye would end up over here, so that's why you wouldn't see it. Start seeing everything as a 3D shape. And this one, we said it's going to be a zombie, right? So maybe he has like a chewed off ear. His mouth would be like all over the place. His teeth would be all crooked. Maybe have some blood because he just ate a zombie like somebody else. The eyes would be like all wonky too, so you can just draw two different shapes. And then just add chaos. It's a zombie. Chaos. You know, you don't even have to draw pupils. And then maybe half his brain is like popping out. So now we have a zombie. We have a bear. Panda. And you can just build on top of that, and there's really nonstop. You can just keep on going forever. The software that I'm using is Clip Studio and Clip Studio Paint Pro. Honestly, it's one of the most easy to understand and easy to use programs out there. It doesn't have the editing capabilities that Photoshop does because it doesn't really need it. If you're using photo manipulation in, you know, you want to like edit tones and everything, you can do all that too. But Photoshop has some features that are more specific towards an editing program like Photoshop. When it comes down to drawing and strictly just wanting to illustrate anything you want, Clip Studio is fantastic. It's honestly one of the most intuitive programs that I've used in a very long time. Frankenstein. Yeah, what I like the most about this is the vector pen tool. And it's an option that comes in every single, even the cheapest version of Clip Studio Pro. And it allows you to do this. This is the fabulous tool. And I know we're like breaking away from the subject a little bit, so I'll go back to it. But when I'm inking, I can just delete intersections by just clicking on that little line. So my line work improves a ton, and it almost looks like it's drawn in vectors. So it's a really, really fun thing to go about. If you bought it, and I know that they have the subscription for the iPad, and that is a subscription. So if you don't pay into your subscription, then you know you're not paying it. But if you actually bought it, your membership should actually work perfectly fine. So, little hints that I would suggest that you guys take advantage of whenever you're sketching as well is one, carry a sketchbook everywhere you go. Try to get a little small sketchbook. You know, I carry a bunch of different ones, but the one that I like is the little sketch wallet. It has a little sketchbook in it, and it carries my stuff. So I like this one, and I like smaller sketchbooks that are no bigger than like 5.5 by 11. As you can see, I play a lot with different shapes. I do those exercises all the time. And I play around with things considerably. These are people that I just met at a convention, and I just decided to draw them. It's a fantastic way to break the ice with people, and I recommend that you guys try it at least a couple times. But I carry a sketchbook everywhere I go. And oh, if you guys want to learn from me in the future, I have some very nice big plans coming up. I do plan to, have my own courses, and hopefully whenever I launch them, you guys come take a look at them and experience what it is to learn directly from a cartoonist like myself. You can also go on my YouTube channel and even my Instagram. I post tutorials and little mini drawing things all the time. So anytime that you guys feel like going and learning something new that maybe you don't know yet, you guys can check me out there. Instagram is at Rod Gon, the artist. And it's that same tag for YouTube, Twitter, and pretty much everything out there. So if you guys want to learn from me there, that's the best place to go about it. Oh, how do I feel about people watching me when I draw? I love it. I absolutely love it. I was a caricature artist for 15 years of my life. I used to draw really silly cartoons of people at theme parks. And they would always have their families there looking, and I liked it. I didn't mind it one bit. It was just super fun to see their expressions, and just everybody laughing or honestly sometimes crying. That was really, really fun. Oh, yeah. You guys can check out my YouTube until I actually start my academy. And when I start my academy, I plan to launch that in a very comprehensive way. So anyone that wants to learn more about it, go sign up to my Instagram, because that's where I post everything. That's where I post the news that I do, my daily drawings, and everything else that is important to me. So the reason I'm good drawing faces is because I was a caricature artist for a very long time. And that also helps. If you guys want to get a hint of what it is to actually do things live, go to a restaurant or a bar if you're old enough and just draw people and give it to them. Just draw them as quickly as you can, even if it's imagine it's just a spiky haired dude. And you have 10 seconds to draw them. You could draw something as simple as this. If you give it to them, they will be your best friends forever. You will make a person smile bigger than they've smiled in their whole lives. Everybody wants to see themselves in artwork. And being a caricature artist absolutely opens up a ton of different doors for you. It makes you faster, makes you think on your feet a lot quicker, and it's also a fantastic job for young artists that are trying to find their way into the industry, because you'll be surrounded by tons of people that have a very similar mindset and that all want to succeed. So you'll be competing against each other. You guys will absolutely love it. Oh, you seem to have a lot of fun drawing. That's an understatement. Drawing is my life. And I don't mean just my job and, the things that I like to do for fun. It's everything to me. It's my therapy. It takes care of me, and it makes me a happier person. So art, if I didn't have art, I don't know what I would do. I would probably play a lot of video games. But other than that, it'd be a very big gap in my life. So, guys and girls, it seems like that time has come for us to say goodbye. And as sad as that makes me, as sad as I am for letting you guys go. Oh no. I do have to say thank you for staying with me even through the technical difficulties. Thank you guys for watching. And all of you that are watching on YouTube, Thank you as well. I appreciate every single one of my followers. And if I could send 100,000 thank you letters to all of you, and I would do it. I wish I could shake every single one of your hands. So, you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining in, and I will catch you guys in the next one.